I'm not delusional in my love for Blade Dancer. It is my only basic damage dealer that is maxed out. I only have the two maxed out units right now, and it's Enchant Sword, which a lot of people love doing Enchant Sword DPS, and they say it's the best thing ever in the same way that people say that Boreas is the best thing ever and Hex is the best thing ever. And I just don't know how to play it. I'm not going to not say that it's not the best thing ever. One, I don't see it very often. I don't find myself constantly playing against Enchant Sword DPS, which makes me question whether or not it's the best thing ever. But people, like, there's a section of the comment section. There's a section of the comment section that are like, you should play Enchant Sword DPS. It's the best thing ever. But I don't play against it almost ever. And so I've poured all my points into maxing out a Blade Dancer. If you have seen any of my videos, most of my content is Blade Dancer focused because it is my only max unit. So I've had the most time to figure out the nuance and how good it could potentially be and where it's good and where it's bad. And so this is all a video to showcase that I am not delusional in my love for Blade Dancer. I know exactly what it can do and what it can't do. And I want to do this kind of as a PSA for anybody who watches my videos and they go into that idea of you use Blade Dancer all the time. That means it's the best unit ever, and I should use Blade Dancer. Blade Dancer is good. It is very good. And this is, yet again, the best game that I've ever played. Every so often, I always want to, clip out the best game ever. I just play a game and I'm like, oh my god, this was the best game ever that I've ever played. This was the luckiest I've ever been. This is the most damage I've ever dealt. This is crazy. And then I'll play another game and I'll be like, no, wait, this is the best game. And this is the best game. This is actually the best game that I've ever played to date. It's everything that I would ever want from my board. I was both, I was very expertly playing this. I was making very correct decisions. I don't regret any decision that I made in this gameplay, other than, and the only one that I could say was an actual mistake was I get warlocked. One of my units gets warlocked at the very end, and I could have saved it if I just switched the Portal Keeper, because even though they said that they took off the shield from Portal Keeper, they didn't. They took off giving the unit that you teleport the shield, but if you teleport a Portal Keeper to a Warlock spot, the Portal Keeper has a shield. I thought they were getting rid of, when they did the Portal Keeper nerf a little while ago, I thought they were getting rid of both shields. That it gives itself a shield and it gives your the other unit a shield. And that's to say, and if you're wondering when would that come into play, one of the strategies a long time ago was during tribunals, you could save that amount of Blade Dancers. I mean, if you were using it with that, the real reason why they nerfed Shield or nerfed Portal Keeper was to combat against people that were using Dark Inquisitor Portal Keeper. But within Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, if you were to get Bedlammed, you could, if you had multiple Portal Keepers on the field, you could at the very least switch that amount of them, and then you'd still have those Blade Dancers. Currently, you would have the Portal Keep. If you did that, you would have the Portal Keepers, but then you would lose all of the Blade Dancers. But yeah, other than that moment at the very end of this game, which doesn't even matter because then the guy immediately dies, that's really the only thing that I did that was wrong. I am proud of all of my merges, how I was merging. There were some problematic ones that I was like, if this becomes this, then I'm going to be really screwed. Oh, wait, just kidding. I have a Portal Keeper. I can move it here. That happens with a level 5 Knight statue where I merged 2 level 4s. And I was like, if this becomes a Knight statue, I'm screwed. And I was like, oh, well, no, wait, I have a level 5 that's off of the intersection, and I can move the Knight statue there. And that's exactly what happens. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, I merged very smartly and expertly. It's merging things to avoid using like an infinite number of dryads or feeling like you need an infinite number of dryads. If you can just merge smartly, like if you think that the Knight statue is going to go onto your intersection, but you have a way to move it away from that, then do it. Like, merge up. It's better to merge up than to keep using dryads on your entire board. But this is obviously evolution, and because this is evolution, I'm able to start at 2. Which means that getting 4 spots up is or 3 spots up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting to 5 is much easier than going from 1 to 5. Going from 2 to 5 is as easy as going from 1 to 4, and that was always my biggest hurdle in my regular games outside of this modifier. I have abundance on one of my equipments, and the abundance modifier gives you plus 10% flat rate as soon as your unit gets to 5. When it gets to 6, it goes to 12%, and when it goes to 7, it gets 14%, assuming that you only have the one abundance modifier. And so as soon as you get to 10%, or as soon as you get to 5, that's when it activates, and that's why I have ingrained in my head, get to 5, get 10%, because that's when it activates. You don't get less of a percent if you have it at less. That would be too good. I feel like everybody would use it at that point. But so the biggest hurdle is to get to 5, and to get to 5 in this deck is very difficult because you basically have to dryad your way to it. And you not only have to dryad one thing, right? Like if you're running dryads in Dark Inquisitor, you're only trying to upgrade your Dark Inquisitor. And while difficult, it's perfectly achievable. You're just merging out all of your field and using all of your dryads, towards this one thing. And that becomes easier if you have a max dryad and you have the gold fairies. So you can get a double upgrade. You can get something to a 5, and then when you use it, it double upgrades, and it automatically goes to 7. But I don't have double upgrades, so getting to 5, getting my Blade Dancers to 5 is incredibly difficult, which obviously mitigates your damage because you're not attacking as fast. For anybody that doesn't know, merging your units up a rank doesn't give them more damage. Not technically. They still have the same damage, but they are attacking faster. So in the same way that Spear is the best equipment, merging your things up, even though they're not getting more damage, if you can attack faster, you're dealing more damage. And that's why it feels like you're getting more damage. You're not technically getting more damage, but you are because it's attacking faster. If 3 bullets hits you at the speed of what 1 bullet would hit you at, and you're taking triple the amount of damage, you're not gaining more damage, you're just getting hit faster, if that makes sense. But yeah, like, I'm gonna stop talking. I feel like I've talked through enough of this boring part of the video. I just thought that I would show you my full gameplay so that you could see all my decisions and how they work. That was one of the ones that you'd probably question, but I do think that because you would think that you would want to Harlequin your dryads, but sometimes I like just getting stacks on my my Knight statue with Hold the Line. Once I max out my Knight statue, I'm probably gonna switch to the barrier, because once it has the ability to attack, and it then has the ability to get Dark Priested or King Puddinged, and I don't necessarily want that, and that will become more important to me than building up stacks with Hold the Line. Because once I start getting, I used to use merges and dryads, like wacky level dryads, to upgrade my Knight statue. And so I usually keep my Knight statue above what the levels of the rest of my board is, unless I'm playing against Shaman, at which point I'll keep it the same level. But for the most part, if I'm not playing against somebody that can interact with me, I do like upgrading it to higher than everything else. I found that in the full moon modifier during the Halloween event, a level 7 Knight statue does so much for this deck. If you can get it to level 7, you're doing so much more damage because you're getting the attack speed and the crit and at higher rates than you obviously would at lower. And if you can't build up an entire field of Blade Dancers to 5, if you can just make that a 7, you're doing so much more. And with that being said, because I'm not running Mermaid or anything, every so often like a random red guy will like hit the Knight statue and because I'm dryading everything, having a level 6 Knight statue that I've like upgraded to a 6, go back down to a 5, and then having to upgrade it again with dryads is just it's too much. Because you can't merge, you can merge into high level Blade Dancers. You can't merge into high level Knight statues with that amount of stacks that you've been stacking the whole game. And so I think that once I get the level 15 talent, I'm gonna switch to Barrier. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this video. I do about 8 billion damage, and while 8 billion damage is a lot, when you have units like a Demon Hunter and, I don't know, what's another high damage unit? Monk. Monk is a pretty high damage unit. When you have Demon Hunter and Monk and, you know, like all of these things, like the Corsair deck, going into the hundreds of billions of damage or the 50s of billions of damage. Like 8 billion damage is a lot, but there's not that much more crit percentage that I could add to myself to make that go into the 50s and the 100 billions of damage that other units, that other people at the same crit level or near the same crit level as me are outputting by just simply switching out a unit. This is all to say, I'm not delusional about how much I think that Blade Dancer can do, because this is pretty much the most that a Blade Dancer I think can do. Without, you know, future modifiers and future Portal Keeper talents and Harlequin talents. So yeah, if you are thinking about building up Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, this is what you can aspire to. If you're trying to get to 50s, hundreds of billions of damage, probably not going to happen. But yeah, enjoy the rest of this video. Oh, right there I got super lucky with the Knight statue hit. That was the only thing that Monkey King hit. I questioned using the defense spell right there because of Monkey King. And I was definitely making sure that Kitsune was going to give me something random. And it gave me a Tamer. So that was nice as well. That was another one of those like, wow, this game is just the luckiest game I've ever played. Because if that Warlock hit, I don't know, something important. Usually whenever I have like one Portal Keeper, that was another thing that I really like about this game. I managed to luck into 2 Portal Keepers. But sometimes when I give myself 1 Portal Keeper and I'm using that other extra space to just have extra space, Monkey King will hit my Portal Keeper, and then I'll have to like struggle to re-upgrade it, and that's something that also spells doom for me. This is where I get Warlocked, and it's fine, but I could have saved it. Right there. I could have saved it, and I moved like the other guy, but it's fine. I was like, I was watching his board because I was pretty sure he was gonna die, and he does. But yeah. Level 17 gadget, max stuff, Hunter's Jacket instead of Mage Robe, which is interesting. Double Generosity is also really interesting. But Spear counterspell. And if you notice, like, he doesn't have a set bonus. He has 2 out of 3 and then the 1 out of 3, and none of this is dark. None of this is dark faction, and he's still outputting that amount of damage with the cultist tech. So as much as I like to say, like, I'm all about my set bonus, because I have full Forest Faction, I'm using a Forest Faction deck, maybe it doesn't matter as much as I think it does. I just think that it's a thing, so why not do it? But maybe it doesn't matter as much as I think it does. As much as, you know, having a Spear and having a Growth Talent, having a Mage Robe, and having Counterspell, and having, you know, like, those are the, you know, the things that maybe matter more than the plus 10% that you're getting. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next video.